Hey, it's Shantae. I'm going to talk a little bit about the books that I read for the month of April in no particular order, just the order that I have. I managed to read 7 books for the month of April. It was a bit of a slow reading month to start, but then I sped it up toward the end. The first book that I read I actually finished it, was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I started this book actually at this time last year, and I am just now getting to finishing it. It's like a fantasy romance, Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's one of 5 different books. This is the second one. She thick, and I gave it 2 stars, and the reason why is because it was just corny. So I don't know if I'm going to finish the series. More than likely I will not finish the series, so that is where I am with that. I do have the last 3 books in my possession. Maybe I'll finish them in about a year or so, but right now it is not on my list of priority books that I'll be reading anytime soon. It is Blood, Scion, and this is by Deborah Falaye. This is a fantasy book. It's targeted as YA, but I do not believe that it is YA. It has a lot of trigger warnings, so if you are sensitive to certain triggers, you need to check out the trigger warnings. Some of them are violence, violation of a people, slavery, those types of things. So this book is about a girl, and her name is Sloan, and Sloan is like a descendant of like the Orisha gods, and her mother disappeared, and she's trying to solve the mystery of how her mother disappeared while trying to hide magic. She is cast in a culture or a system where the people that have the type of magic that she have, they're outcasted. So she goes through this journey. She becomes outcasted in her village, and it's just rough. So she's trying to get some information. She's trying to get herself out of the situation that she's in, and without telling a lot about it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. It is a very, very high fantasy book, but again, there is a lot of violence. I really appreciated this book, and I am so glad that I bought it. Sky Failing by Nia McKenzie. Purchased this book from the library. Somebody from my library system has a book of the month subscription, and they often donate their books to the library. So I ended up getting this one for like 50 cents. This particular story it is about a 26-year-old. Her name is Sky, and she's just living a fast life, like of drugs. She's travels, she's child free, and at some point in her life, she does donate eggs. She does donate her eggs to someone, and out the blue, the egg is now a like 14-year-old or 12-year-old or something like that. And out the blue, she comes knocking on her door, and she says that you're my mom. And then we go through Sky's maturation process and her being able to connect with this little girl that is saying that she is hers. It's funny. I really liked it, and I saw on Goodreads the review was like a 3.6. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought that it was a good story, and I look forward to reading more from this author. It does have some queer representation. This is a Black author. Also, Blood Scion is by a Black author as well. So I need to mention that when I'm doing these reviews. So this is by a Black author. I really enjoyed it. If you have access to it, I recommend you get that one. Next book that I read for the month of April is Emma in the Night, and it is by Wendy Walker. Same situation as Sky Falling. I purchased this from my library for quite cheap. This particular book is about 2 sisters named Emma and Cassandra, also known as Cass. They go missing, and then 3 years later, Cassandra comes back, and we are trying to solve the mystery, and it's told in the perspective of both Cassandra and the forensic psychologist that has been assigned to the case. I don't know how I felt about it. I gave it a 2.5 stars. My sister is watching this review, so I'm trying not to give a lot of spoilers about it. But I felt like the ending wrapped up super quick, and I didn't appreciate how quick that it wrapped up. And I felt like I needed more information. Next book that I read was House of Holo, and this is by Crystal Sutherland. I managed to pick this one up for my library for about $1, so I read it because it is like a dark gothic fantasy mystery type situation. It's about a girl, her name is Iris, and her two older sisters, they go missing. I want to say 10 years ago, they go missing and then they come back different. And so sisters, she ends up going missing, and we ended up going through a journey trying to solve that. But a lot unravels while we're doing that. These particular sisters, when they came back from when they were missing, they came back different. There is magic here. It's supposed to be a YA book. Not a YA book. There is drugs, there's sex mentioned, there is death mentioned. It's some violence going on in there. I enjoyed it though. I gave it 5 stars. It took me only about 2 days to read it, and I listened to it as well while I was at the gym. I thought that this is a really good book, and I recommend anyone pick this one up as well. It was Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. This is another book by a Black author, and it is a Black story. This particular book is a generational story told about 2 siblings, and we go through the history of their parents and their parents' parents, and some secrets that the family has, and how they have guided the way that the parents have raised them, and some information about the parents that ends up unraveling. I gave this one about 3.5 stars. I was quite a bit disappointed. It was a very slow plot. I felt like I needed more things to happen to grasp me in as the reader. I also felt like it was just a lot of loopholes, and we didn't get a lot of answers. So I needed to connect more to the characters. I wasn't able to do that. And yeah, I just really didn't enjoy it, and I just powered through it because I did borrow it from my library, and it finally came available, and I have FOMO, so I wanted to make sure that I was included in this whole experience, but it just was not for me. Don't recommend. If that's something that you're into, go for it. The next book that I read was a short story, a Kindle short story by the author of The Handmaid's Tale, and it's called My Evil Mother. And it's a story about a girl who is raised by a woman that she believes is a witch. And again, it's a novella. It's probably about 40 pages. I finished it in one night. It was like a 2-star for me. I was like, what was the point? Yeah. So it sounds like it was good because it was a girl trying to figure out if her mother is a witch. The whole premise was us trying to figure it out with her. Yeah. I would probably say my top read of the month is definitely, without a doubt, Blood Scion. If you want any recommendation on any book that you should be reading, it's definitely Blood Scion. For a reason, but these are some of the books that I do want to try to at least try to start for the month of May. I do want to read The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornischek. And this is, I'm told, a Greek mythology retelling, and I'm told that it's really good. So I want to read that. It is called In Search of a Prince by Tony Shiloh. I'll probably go ahead and start that one probably Monday. And I think it's about like a princess and kind of almost some Bridgerton type, but black characters. So I'm looking forward to actually reading this one, which is the second book in the Scythe series, which I love Scythe so much. This one is by Neil Schusterman. It's a little chunky, so it might take me a while, but I'm really interested in finishing off this series. Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. I finished off all of the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Rule of Wolves duology, and now I just have this duology, and I want to get into it because I just love the Grishaverse so much. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and I'm just trying to deepen my yoga practice a little bit more. That concludes my April wrap up and my May TBR. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any suggestions of what I should read next, put them down below in the comment box. Until next time.